Hello and welcome to Whisky Sisters podcast. I am Inka Larissa.
And I am Jennifer Rose.
Together we will bring you a monthly whiskey podcast where we will be discovering drams, exploring distilleries and talking to industry experts and catching up with our whiskey pals.
We will be sharing exciting whiskey adventures, sticking our noses into some whiskey news, keeping our drams on fire, of course, and cutting through any industry bullshit. So, buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Welcome to the Whisky Sisters podcast with Inka and Jen.
Buonasera tutti, or buongiorno, because this episode is coming out in the morning. Thank you for joining us again today. So you may have seen our social media post that another little postal fuckery seems to be the team here at Whisky Sisters headquarters. Yeah, so episode was supposed to be about festival releases, but unfortunately, Italian Postal Service didn't quite serve us.
I think it keeps things kind of spicy and a little bit mysterious. You know, it might be that, it might be this. We'll need to go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever we say at the end of the episode, just take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. But we did promise you peat originally. So even although it's not those festival samples, today's episode, we are sampling 3 peated expressions from Old Ballantruan.
Yeah, I wonder how many people actually are familiar with the brand or have heard of it. Because for me, when I originally heard about it, like a couple of years ago, it was quite a surprise. It's basically Tomintoul Distillery's peated sister.
Yeah, I actually hadn't heard of it until I did Tomintoul tasting, and they were speaking about it then a couple of years back, maybe 3 years back or something, and that was the first I'd come across them. So yeah, like yourself, I'm intrigued as to how the kind of wider whiskey drinking public, how familiar they are with the brand.
And especially like hardcore peat lovers and stuff, you know, Speyside peat is not common. And just about the pronunciation of Tomintoul, I remembered because originally I was going to say Tomintoul.
Yeah,
but
it looks like Tomintoul, doesn't it?
Yeah, but do you remember that video from Mark?
Well, yes, Tomintoul.
Tomintoul.
Yeah.
So there you go. So how's your month been anyway?
My month has been good so far, and in fact, I'm recording this episode from Portugal, and it's a steamy and spicy 30 degrees today, so I am feeling mighty fine, albeit somewhat sweaty.
Yes, I know, me too. It's about 29 degrees here in Italy today. I'm in Florence, and full disclaimer, I had some wine at lunch.
Amazing.
So whiskey Sundays.
Rosé or white?
I had rosé, yeah. Very nice rosé.
Very nice for a warm day, isn't it?
Yeah, went to a nice terrace place overlooking the city. It was magical.
Oh,
although sweaty walking up there.
Stick your nose in it.
Okay, so Redbreast 15-year-old was first introduced in 2005 as a one-off bottling. To celebrate 20 years of the whiskey now, the brand is releasing a limited edition cask strength version. And this new expression was matured in a combination of ex-bourbon and Oloroso sherry seasoned casks and is bottled at a pretty substantial 56.3% ABV. It is a bit of a shame that release didn't make it into a recent battle of the drams, the 15-year-old.
I know. I was thinking that actually. I was trying to look for the 15-year-old. Like an Irish one, something interesting, but that was a bit too late. And I think I might be getting a sample. So if I do, maybe we'll review it later on because it would be nice to mix things up a bit.
sorry, I'm just going to say that redbreast kind of reminds me of like Christmas, but I think it's just because I think of robins and I think
Yeah.
of them a bit Christmassy.
No, I think the same. But loads of people rave about Redbreast, like it's definitely supposedly one of the best Irish whiskies. So
Mm.
I feel like we should maybe
Yes.
cover it at some point. So I also have some Macallan news. This is
Oh.
quite I'm normally a bit snooty about Macallan, but I've actually added a picture if you scroll down on your notes, Jennifer. I've added a little
Yes.
picture just
Oh,
for
yes, I saw that.
so basically, the Macallan has collaborated with the designer David Carson again to reimagine the design of its double cask, sherry oak, and color collection. And for the redesign, he drew inspiration from a variety of sources, including how sherry and oak interact to influence the Macallan's distinctive taste. And he said, like whiskey, design is all about balance. With the Macallan, I wanted to create a visual identity that respects its rich history and encapsulates its forward-thinking spirit. Each detail, from the label design to the bottle form, is a tribute to the mastery behind every dram. Blah blah blah. Like from the shape of the distillery and all that kind of stuff. So. As with the previous design, the bottle features a triangular shoulder label that represents the Spain sherry triangle.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's quite cool. From where the Macallan sources is sherry, seasoned casks, obviously. And the back label now features a new cask type symbol that identify the contribution of flavor from American and European oak casks. The bottles also feature world-leading anti-counterfeit technology to provide, yeah,
Oh,
greater traceability. I guess that's for like for auctions and stuff
yeah.
alongside with the QR code to provide further information about the expressions. But I saw that picture that I sent you, and it looks really quite. It's giving me 70s vibe. If you look at the boxes,
Yes.
like where the whiskey comes from, all that little details, the red and white, different kind of patterns. It's quite cool. I'm quite into it.
Do you know what it's giving for me? The
Mm.
boxes. In IKEA at Christmas time, you get little like multi wraps of Christmas paper. That's giving me
Ah,
IKEA Christmas paper vibes. But
maybe it's
that's
the
not a bad
Scandi vibe.
thing. Yeah, maybe.
Scandi
Yeah.
vibe. But yeah, I like it. It's like it's giving me wallpaper, 70s wallpaper. Also that kind of that triangle shape, even on the
Mm,
bottle itself, not just the label. I don't know if that's like new. It looks kind of eye-catching, I guess.
yeah. I think it
So
looks
yeah,
pretty
I'm
cool.
feeling it. It's like I'm normally anti Macallan, but I'm totally feeling this. That's why I wanted to just mention it.
Nice.
I know what's going on in the world. Is it a full moon or something?
Okay, next up in our news, White and Mackay owned Fettercairn Distillery has launched its single malt whiskies in the US for the very first time in its 200-year history. With an eye for the high-end Scotch single malt market, Fettercairn makes its US debut with 5 rare expressions ranging from 24 to 50-year-old whiskies, so they've gone in with a bit of a bang. Stuart Walker, the distillery manager, commented on this milestone, saying, Fettercairn has always been for those who embrace curiosity and appreciate exceptional flavours. As the appetite for characterful and rare single malts grows in the US, we are proud to showcase what makes Fettercairn so distinctive: vibrant tropical notes, elegant complexity, and a heritage of boundary-pushing whisky making. But check this out, the distillery's offering in the US will include the 24-year-old with a recommended retail price of $650 for the 28-year-old for $1,250, the 40-year-old is $6,000, and the 46-year-old whiskey comes with a recommended retail price of $19,000, with the 50-year-old coming in at a not too shy $37,000. So, maybe that's great news for ultra wealthy US listeners that with a penchant for Fettercairn, but for the average Joe, I'd think blah 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 blah.
I know. I was looking at that and thinking, oh yeah, that would be nice for our like US listeners. Oh, they can try some fest again. Why didn't they bring some core range delicious as well? Like what?
Yeah.
That's just totally serving. They just think, oh, there's the money, let's get some of that.
Oh, they're super duper pricey.
Unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah. News from Edinburgh. Heriot-Watt University is aiming to raise £35 million to build a new distilling and brewing centre that will embrace sustainable practices. So the new centre would be a state-of-art version of the one international centre that they already have. It would replace the current centre, which opened in 1990. And they offer undergraduate and graduate courses for brewing and distilling. You see that a lot in Scotland. Lots of distillers been giving jobs for people who've taken that course.
Yeah.
And they do sorts of like experimentations with the school as well, which is quite nice. So they said that the new project would enable the university to evolve its teaching and research to meet the challenges of the future. The facility will also include dedicated entrepreneurial hub to support startups and small to medium-sized businesses. They believe that the new site could help the distilling and brewing industry tackle climate crisis along with providing employment and economic wealth around the world. I'm sure I told you before that I actually went to see them because I was like intrigued by all that. I'm thinking, would I be a distiller? Would I be like interested in that? But then as soon as I went there, I was like, nah.
Is it very science and maths based?
Yeah, it's very it's very scientific. I like the
Quite very
idea of it.
technical.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's obviously very good for people that are genuinely interested. I was just more curious and then
You
it
just
was
thought it
nice
would
to have the
you just
tour
thought
and
it would
stuff.
sound good maybe to say you had that degree whilst drinking in bars with people. It sounds pretty cool.
It was like around COVID times when it was I was just questioning like, what am I doing? And
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So I jazz it up. And also I was thinking of all those kind of, sustainability and da da da. So like
Yeah, for
maybe I could
sure.
just educate myself a little bit by just doing the course. I didn't necessarily think that I would become a distiller. It's more just like learning more about the
Yeah.
facts and the methods. But yeah, it was way too intense for me.
It sounds pretty full on what they're planning, and it sounds as quite fairly exciting for those in that field.
Yeah, and I think definitely if it's like opened in 1990, it's good to update things like with the
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, for sure. After debuting in Asia last year, Thailand's first single malt whisky, Prakan, will roll out in international markets. The whisky will roll out worldwide, starting in the UK, France, and Germany. That's this year. And the US and other markets will follow in the future. And the whisky is made at the Prakan distillery, and that's located within the Western Forest Complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the north of Thailand. Have you been there? Because I know you lived in Thailand for a bit.
No, I've never been there, but I'm actually quite excited about this news. And I feel like this is something for a future podcast. I definitely want to get some samples and try this because it's quite a unique product
Yeah.
from Thailand.
Absolutely. And the name Prakan translates to wall or fort in Thai and is inspired by the wall that once surrounded Kampeng Phet. Prakan debuts with three 43% ABV expressions, select cask, double cask, and peated malt, which are called the Tribura series. And this Tribura series is inspired by the three layers of the wall to represent Thai history, provenance, and passion, which sounds very cute. The company said the area's natural resources, that includes the region's spring water and their hot climate, along with local craftsmanship, of course, provide the perfect conditions for making a distinctively Thai whisky. And the liquid rests in the distillery's two underground warehouses. That sounds pretty cool, which contain between 30,000 and 50,000 casks. So that must be some size warehouse.
Yeah, but it's quite cool that it's underground. So it means because it's obviously so hot and humid. So maybe that like just slows down the maturation a little bit.
Yeah, too much angel share maybe otherwise.
Mm,
As you say, let's watch this space and hopefully we can get our whiskey drinking pause on some samples.
yeah, for sure.
Dram on fire.
Okay, let's dive into Old Ballantruan, and it takes its name from an exceptional source of the purest waters, the Ballantruan Spring, nestled in the Cromdale Hills close to Tomintoul. And Tomintoul village itself is said to be the highest in the Highlands, and the countryside around the distillery is super beautiful, like full of wildlife, home to golden eagles, mountain hares, wildcats, pine martens, red squirrels that are super rare, water voles, and otters, to name a few. And when the barley truck arrives, the distillery is invaded by pheasants, hoping to help themselves to any discarded grains. It just sounds very wholesome, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Founded in Ballandalloch.
Yeah. Oh, Ballindalloch, the castle, they have their own whiskey brand now as well.
Oh, cool. So founded in Ballindalloch in 1965 by Hay and MacLeod and W&S Strong, Tomintoul became part of blending house White and Mackay by 1973 and eventually became the first distillery acquired by Angus and Distillers in 2000. I actually went to that village years ago, but it was like before I was properly into whiskey, so I didn't nosy around the whiskey making facilities, but it was a totally delicious Speyside paradise.
Yeah, I know there's so many distilleries around that area. It really is
Mm.
a whiskey lover's dream if you can get a driver.
Yeah, for sure.
While Tomintoul's mature whiskey is released as a single malt under its own name, as well as sold as a filling for blends, a peated variant, Old Ballantruan, was introduced in 2005. And 2 weeks a year, a heavily peated malt with 55 ppm is used for mashing and for these peated bottlings. So the smoky brand first appeared as non-age statement bottling, and then it was followed by a 10-year-old expression in 2012 and a 15-year-old in 2018. And now all three are readily available at reasonable prices, which is nice. The peat is actually locally sourced from Speyside, which is very unusual, and has elements such as heather and ancient moss grass, which gives the Old Ballantruan its distinctive smoky log fire flavors. Makes sense, because earlier I was thinking I was getting a lot log fires. Log fire flavors that can be picked up so unmistakably on the nose and on the palate. Exactly.
And all these releases are bottled at 50% ABV and without any chill filtration in order to retain its layered and integrated peaty flavours.
Whisky Sisters!
So let's go and try the first one straight away. So peated Old Ballantruan, it's just a classic. Peated Speyside Glenlivet single Scotch whiskey bottled at 50. So same with the Tomintoul. These labels also mention Glenlivet, which might be confusing for some drinkers, because obviously there is also a Glenlivet distillery. Just a little recap that since the smuggling era, Glenlivet was used as the shorthand for several Speyside whiskies. They were known as premium products and often sold for more than whiskey from any other area. And the founder of the Glenlivet distillery trademarked Glenlivet in 1876, but due to rivals having the same idea, they end up in court. Eventually, in 1884, the distillery won the battle and became the owner of the name. But to complicate matters, however, other distilleries could still use Glenlivet on their whiskey labels after their own distillery name. So even at the time, like it used to be Macallan Glenlivet or Abelauer Glenlivet, and it's still possible to see the name Glenlivet on the whiskey labels. So that's kind of, I quite like it. It's like a little piece of history on Tomintoul's and Old Ballantruan's labels, just to kind of draw the attention to the fact that that area was like a booming, super duper good quality whiskeys coming from there. So,
And that reminder about that name kind of battle makes me think, it's all in our experience anyway, as kind of outsiders-ish looking into the whiskey world. It all seems fairly friendly and supportive, but that sounds kind of like, battle of the names. It's mine. No, it's mine.
yeah. And same with like in Islay, the Lagavulin Lafroig battling about water sources and
Yeah,
things like that. It
true.
just used to be hard going, and now whiskey is such a more or less friendly environment. So we've come a long way.
Yeah, change days.
let's go to the tasting notes on the first one, the classic one.
Release the serpent.
Quite a yellowy color, I would say.
Yeah, quite sunshiny colour.
The nose is giving me quite like a cereal aroma, like brown bread, hay. Oh my God, I totally forgot this name of this flower. So it's kind of like honeysuckle, the white one.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Got it everywhere in Florence. It's growing. I even have some on the roof, but I totally forgot the name. Because it's like at the moment it's booming with these white flowers growing here, but they're starting to die off. And it really reminds me of smell like a mass tun. And like this is really giving me
oh,
that. What is that? Oh, I can't I can see it, but I don't remember the name. It's kind of like honeysuckle, but not. It often gets confused for honeysuckle.
is it called baby's breath?
No.
Chinese privet?
No, it's like a oh, maybe it'll come to me later.
Yeah, I can
It's
come
I
to
can't
you
remember.
later.
Kind of malty, bready note.
Mm.
Also, I'm thinking I've mentioned this before in some whiskeys, because we didn't have a lot of money and stuff, and Mum would cook stale rye bread in milk and butter.
Yeah.
So I'm really getting that smell as well on the nose, and maybe a little bit of there's some sweetness which I think could be obviously from those floral notes, but also prunes.
Oh, good call. And I'm really interested in your milky notes because I can very much get in touch with that. I think at first very honeycomb-like, honeycomb sweetness. I did after some time in the glass find a bit of ashiness on the nose, but like cold fireplace ash as opposed to like a raging bonfire, nothing like that. And these kind of floral wildflower notes, but I'm not quite sure what they are, but a really strong milky aroma, milky chocolate cake battery-ish,
Mm.
maybe some grated nutmeg. And this is maybe a bit ridiculous, but I did feel there was like a mild fermentation-y smell, and I've
Yeah.
written blue cheese in the distance.
That's a good one. Yeah, no, I think I know what you mean. Because when you use that really there's definitely that kind of fermentation-y or mashed
Something a
tun
little bit
smell.
funky.
Mm. I love blue cheese in the distance. It's one of
Oh,
my favorites. That's the smell
I like blue
in
cheese
whiskey.
salad with walnut and apple.
Oh, nice.
Right, what did you get
Um,
in the palate for this one?
licorice, bonfire embers,
Mm.
dried oregano,
Oh, good one.
bitter dark chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
peppermint tea,
Nice.
and lemon zest.
Ah, I really get the lemon zest as I'm sipping away now. My initial notes were pretty different from that. I couldn't initially get away from a really candied sweetness, but I
Mm.
thought, is it that or is it the fact I had recently eaten chocolate ice cream? So I wasn't too sure if that was to do with the chocolate ice cream that I'd had like a little bit earlier. But I did think an intense honeycomb, like that salted caramel, really sweet, but then almost like barbecued vegetables, a kind of smoky
Oh.
barbecued. Don't know if you ever do like peppers on the barbecue. Sometimes
Yeah,
I do,
yeah,
and I was kind of getting them. But as you mentioned it there, I'm very much in agreement with the zesty lemon.
definitely. It's not like overly lemony, it's just that nice kind of oh, jasmine. There you go. Jasmine. Sorry.
Nice, nice.
Jasmine, yeah, similar to honeysuckle.
I think this is very, ooh, like very welcoming entry dram to somebody that maybe doesn't think they would like anything smoky. I
Yeah.
personally find Speyside peat very alluring and inviting,
Mm.
non-aggressive and sort of, yeah, welcoming to
Yeah.
the non-peat freak. And I think that's quite a charming dram. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. On the finish as well, I was getting a bit more dried grass and hay and those kind of barley notes. But yeah,
Mm,
very gentle, makes sense that it's from Tomintoul, maybe.
yeah.
It's a gentle one. Even if it's 55 ppm, it's not
Yeah.
in your face. It's
Very sippable for that strength.
mm. Just quickly, by the way, I just realized I'm a bit hissy with my words, I changed my aligners again, so like can't
Oh,
properly.
cute. And are you noticing a difference with them?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's definitely working, but I feel like some of the previous ones been easier. This is aligner number 7. I have 9 altogether. So I feel like I'm more conscious of this one. So I feel like my speech is all a bit.
Oh, like Sean Connery, there's something
Yeah,
in your throat.
yeah,
That's kind of
definitely.
cute. Seashells on the seashore.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to Old Ballantruan 10, also 50% ABV. What do we think of this bad boy?
Color is slightly more pale yellow, I think, than the previous one. I feel like all 3 is kind of like a slight different shades of yellow, but very close together,
Yeah,
but
quite
slightly
close.
different levels. Yeah. Nose, I felt it was quite rounded. Like there was maybe a bit more vanilla caramel than the previous one, so it felt a bit more like I don't know, like yeah, rounded if that makes sense. I was still getting floral notes. Then, but at the same time, it was like a floral notes with like chorizo and finocchiona, which is like Italian salami.
Oh, oh, I
Yeah, and
wasn't
now,
expecting that.
yeah, I'm still getting it. It's maybe a little bit more
Mm.
oaky notes now as well because it's been in the glass. But like, if you think salami or chorizo and put your nose in it and see if you can get it.
Oh, I know what you mean now. Like when you're walking in a market and you get a sniff of those smoked things, sausages
Yeah,
hanging up with a string, right?
yeah, exactly. Yes, and that's what because chorizos normally can be a bit smoky or spicy, or like there's something
Mm.
it's a bit more pungent maybe.
Oh, yeah, good call, actually. I would
Or
never
when
have
you
got
yeah,
that, but I can totally, now
if
you're
you buy
saying
some
that, like I can really agree.
yeah, if you buy some salami or chorizo and you cut it and then you have to peel the skin off a little bit and then, your finger smells like
Yeah. Sausage fingers.
Yeah, I know, but it's such a weird combo because it's still at the same time it's kind of floral and nice.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely get like kind of heathery honey notes and floral, maybe like thinking yellow daffodils or those kind of again kind of wild flowers, but kind of pungent smells as
Mm,
well. I think
absolutely.
there's a vanilla creaminess though, for sure.
The palette, I was getting boiled pear sweets or something pear-like, quite floral again. Definitely less bonfire-y than the previous one. Initially I was getting like malty biscuit with caramel. What's those called?
Like a
They do the kind of just the
Biscoff.
no, the round ones that they do kind of just the malty ones or like the really kind of dry ones that like healthy biscuits or whatever. And then they do the caramel ones and different toppings on them. Can't remember the name. I'm really bad in names today. But anyway, malty biscuit with like a caramel topping, whatever. Quite a bit honey as well. I like it. I like it a lot. There's definitely like smoke, but I guess because I'm so used to peated whiskies, I'm not
Yes.
like it's not the first thing that comes to mind. But if I'm thinking like, oh yeah, reminding myself, oh yeah, this is peated whiskey. There's definitely peat there. There's definitely like that kind of distant smokiness and yeah, a little bit kind of ashiness. But I'm more focused on the sweeter floral notes. Like I don't know, does apple have flowers? I'm thinking like apple flowers.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting and I want to expand my floral vocabulary because I do sort of give floral as a bit of a catch-all and I'm not quite sure how to, whittle it down, but I definitely get a floral sweetness also, potentially on the sweeter notes like sweet candied orange, maybe in a cake. But I actually did find this one a little bit smokier on the palate than I would have anticipated from the nose. And I got some smoky bacon crisps. There's a kind of sweetness to those, like
Mhm.
potato chips. But actually a kind of fresh chili taste as well.
Ah, interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I find this like very springtime whiskey. Like it's giving me loads of spring notes
Mm.
or early summer. On the finish, I think it's quite sweet, malty,
Yeah.
bit of vanilla. There's definitely some peppery spice, a little bit, and
Mhm.
again that distant smoke, very long finish, and maybe
Mm.
even slightly feel like I've smoked cigarette like 2 days ago and still
Yeah.
lingering.
I definitely agree on that long finish, somewhat tobacco-y, but very sweet, very gentle, and it's very alluring.
Yeah, oh my God. I have to admit that I've had these bottles for a while and I've barely touched them. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because Tom in Towel is not like my favorite in the sense that it's always too light
And do you think it
or
because maybe Old Ballantruan, although we've heard of it a few years now, is not a commonly spoken about dram, so it's not on the radar too much? Do you think that has something psychologically to do with it?
yeah, and I think it's the packaging is very traditional, very and the black they'll come in black bottles, which is not necessarily I don't know, they're just not like jumping at me. But now that I've properly really tried them, just honestly, I feel ashamed. I should have tried them so much like way before.
It's
I'm
almost as
definitely
if
gonna
you
be
didn't anticipate much from them, and there's a lot more sexy going on than you would have imagined.
yeah, and I think it maybe is with the whole fact with the Tom and Towel because I just find them too light and delicate for me in my usual like maybe make a highball or something like that, but it's not like
Mhm.
something that I would just go for. So I think that maybe was just blocking me a little bit. But
Hmm.
I will definitely be recommending Old Pallantruan to people from now on.
Yeah,
We
for
haven't even
sure.
got to the last one, by the way, but I'm already like excited.
Yeah, no, that's really good and nice as well, like the strength of that 10-year-old and price point not too shabby. So yeah,
Oh my God, 50% ABV of all of these, and I really don't think it feels that strong at all.
no, very sippable.
Yeah, but maybe that's why they are so nice because you can, with that extra ABV, you really get a lot of those flavors and
Mhm.
aroma. Okay, so let's go on the 15. Like slightly darkest yellow, maybe a bit
Yep.
sunsetty. We don't have any details. By the way, I was trying to find details of the casks that been used, and I couldn't find anything. Only saying because on this one, actually, on the nose, I get a bit sherry notes. So I was
Mm.
just wondering because also with the color being a little bit darker, but obviously it's been in the cask for 5 years longer. But I'm not sure if there would be some shared influence or not. So I might have to reach out to the team and see what they
Yes,
say.
who knows? Give us the intel. I think the colour's a wee bit darker on this one, but
It
still like
is,
sunshiny yellow.
yeah, I'm thinking maybe sunset, like getting a bit darker that way. But yeah, again, really nice nose. This is definitely giving me more sherry vibes, dried cranberries, dried blueberries, than just like normal fresh cherries. Some baking spices like or like you know when making a dough that you put some cinnamon or nutmeg or cardamom or something in there. It's like
Mhm.
just not like overly pungent, but just it's there. And then I was thinking, you know, when you're shaving your makeup pencils, like eyeliners or something. 'Cause I feel like
So it's
sometimes
not
make
quite heavily woody, but there's something kind of like natural and
yeah, and you
sweet
know
and
sometimes
woody.
there's some makeup has some slightly more like they're a bit more scented or something a little bit.
Mm.
So it's like it's woody, it's like pencil shavings, but make it makeup version. You know? I
That's
don't know if I
cool. No, 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 I really like that because I wasn't, I'm not sure of my descriptives, but I got a lot of like I've written delicate florals because just as I was saying earlier, I'm not good, but like real as if I did know the nuances of different like flower scents, I'm just like, oh, they just like are so delicate. But I've also got like a pine tree forest, so something sort of woody and a little bit piney.
yeah, like a fresh we had this pine tree for ages, for quite a few years, and like it was so nice every year when it starts making new little buds coming up, like the
Yeah.
They're
The
really
fresh,
fragrant.
yeah, the fragrant fresh buds of pine. That's
Yeah,
yeah, I
they are
love
a bit
that.
sweeter if it's a younger tree as
Yes.
well.
And did you ever, when you were little, I was kind of, this is probably mean to the trees, but because I loved like the smell of leaves and different things. So if I was walking past like a hedge or a bush or muley buds, and I'd sometimes like rub it in my fingers, like, and
Yeah.
play
Oh
with it
my
and
God.
stuff.
I
And
do
like,
it
I
all the
love that.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here, like in Italy, obviously you've got lots of rosemary and all different things. So I'm always rubbing,
Mm. That's
rubbing
it,
it.
like rubbing the plants in your fingers and having a good old sniff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I actually, oh, maybe for this episode, I should just film all the before all the jasmine dies because it's like fences of jasmine on our street.
That's
Um,
so
I
cool.
would
You should
just to
definitely do
show like
that.
how because it's turning a little bit brown from the white because it's
Mm.
dying off. So just to
That's a good call. But I definitely also got kind of like fruity, like beautiful ripe pear, maybe some
yeah,
barbecued peach on the nose also.
yeah, definitely. There's definitely that kind of pear sweetness. But one point I wrote peanuts as well, so I was getting slight nuttiness, that kind of salted peanuts thing, but I'm not really getting it now. I feel like it's sweeter than it was before.
And how much, well, we're both sipping on warm days, how much that
Mm.
influences, who knows?
Palate on this one, I find it a bit more creamier actually than the other two. Oh, quite a bit creamier. I wouldn't necessarily say the other two were creamy. There's definitely more texture on this one.
Like a creme fraiche creaminess, maybe, that you would kind of have alongside a poached pear.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
What else do you get in the palette for the 15?
Bit of oakiness, red berries. I was really getting like Scottish raspberry, like when you get a proper raspberry that tastes like the real deal.
I inhaled that 15 there.
All the smoke going in.
Yeah, sorry, listeners, I inhaled that whiskey there and I've got a wee croaky throat now.
Sound like an auntie who's been smoking
Yeah,
2 years for.
that's it. Never mind bonfire smoke, like 46 a day smoke.
Yeah. So yeah, some oakiness, red berry, Scottish raspberry. I was thinking like amaro, like bitter Italian liqueur, but like more with bitter orange flavor. Like
Yeah,
there's a bit more bitterness, so it's probably that smokiness. The peat is probably a bit more pungent on the palate on this one, I think.
yeah, I think there is a wee kind of bitter edge, but it doesn't take it, not in a Welsh way, because I do think that creaminess and sweetness is very much there. And I can't really get away from the poached pear. I didn't find it just as long in the finish as the 10, but I found it nice and maybe a bit of bonfire coals on the finish.
Yeah, I feel like the finish is more feisty, like it's a bit more stronger on the peat smoke. Originally, when I first tried it, I felt like it literally was numbing my tongue. But I don't,
Oh,
yeah, it's funny. I don't feel it now that it's been in the glass for a bit, but there's definitely more peat, like there's that kind of ashiness, maybe
yeah.
dried herbs as well. Very different yet cohesive drams. It's weird.
Completely agree. There's something that, like, there's threads throughout, says Croaky Jen, but they all stand alone. They're quite different.
This 15 is definitely the most heavily peated in flavor on the palate for me. Like more bonfirey. I don't
Do you
know.
have a favourite?
Yeah, the 10 for
Ah,
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not as confident at naming a favourite. I enjoyed a lot of elements of all three of them, and I would absolutely recommend Old Ballantruan. And I think I prefer Old Ballantruan and Glencadam to Tom and Towel for sure.
It's funny how it is so heavily peated, but it's still so delicate in a way. It works really well, definitely. Speyside peat for the win.
Speyside
um,
Pete, yep.
But yeah, I hope they will have. I need to look this up. I hope they have like little wee tasting sets of all three because I do recommend people trying this. And it does feel like mine has been in the glass for a wee bit, so it does evolve as well. But the 10-year-old, I literally threw love hearts, so that's
Which
that's
is
the winner.
always a good sign.
Yeah. Just gonna say quickly, I just like had the last sip of the first one,
Okay.
it tasted really quite caramelly. Like it's completely changed on the wow.
On
Like
like the first tasting and then going
yeah,
back to it, yeah.
it becomes sweeter and it was quite caramelly now.
Yeah, I did
Ooh,
like
oh,
the original Old Ballantruan, the smoky original.
yeah, it's taking us on a journey. Definitely need to sip more than once,
Yeah.
fully discover.
Spit it out.
Chinese, Japanese, and a Taiwanese whiskey. Is that how you say that? Taiwanese?
Good start. Yeah. There will be
And it's got a so-called aphrodisiac Damiana.
Damiana.
No?
Damiana?
Damiana.
I don't know.
I'll try that bit again. Barrel-aged maple syrup, adaptogenic cordyceps mushrooms, and Schisandra berry, and the so-called aphrodisiac Diamania. I'm not very good at stuff.
With time in the glass, it comes like a sour cherry sweets.
I don't know what I've done to my camera there.
I know.
I think it got bored of looking at me. What's just going on? Sorry. I think Scalpa has come out and kicked ass in fifth position. Not fifth position. Let me say that again. I think Scalpa's come out and kicked ass as a bit of a kind of outsider.
Yeah, did you say scalp back in or just as a joke or just accidentally?
Well, probably just said it accidentally.
Love it. We're just gonna start calling it scalper. Just go with it. Everyone would be like, what are you talking about?
Scalpa, I'm really sorry. I love your Scalpa. I hope spring has sprung wherever you're listening to this episode. We have hang on. I'm so distracted. Hang on 2 seconds. Fucking hell. We have a whiskey pal in the house tonight fucking hell. Do you want to do this fucking first bit? Sorry, Inka.
So cool. And some unheard interviews. No, how do you say not unheard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Good kind of segment to go to good leeway. No. What's the word?
Howdy, Easter bunnies. Oh, I'll do that again because Inka did a big sniff there. After facing significant liquidity. After facing in a damp dunnage warehouse say that again.
Okay, so earlier last year. Can you even say that?
At some time in the past.
Oh no, sorry. So
not today, not tomorrow.
Sometime last year. So news from Edinburgh. Harriet Watt University.
What?
Harriet Watt create innovative products.
Is inspired by the wall that once surrounded Camping Pet. Or is that Fet?
I think it's Pet.
Camping Pet.
Okay. Today we are I can't talk. Today we are battling. See you in June. We'll have loads of news in June and we'll be all fun. Yay.
Yay.
Bye. Oh, may your class be no. Yeah. May your class be full.
And your dram on fire.
You've been listening to the Whisky Sisters podcast.
When this episode comes out, I am literally starting my journey towards Doravik Distillery.
Oh, that's exciting.
I've been trying to go to Torvik for so long. I think it was 2021. I was trying to get in. It was Sunday and they were closed. So I got pictures from outside and it was sunny day and it
Yeah.
looked absolutely stunning. So I'm going to be staying near the distillery for 2 days, trying all their stuff, doing a bit of Isle of Skye swag, and then I'm heading to Isle of Raasay and I'm going to go and try the whiskey, hopefully from my own cask.
Whoa, that's so exciting. We need feedback from that next episode.
Yeah, and it's literally my birthday will be on Isle of Raasay. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's
Midsummer
so
on the
nice.
island. Yeah, it'll be so
That's
nice.
very romantic sounding and hugely exciting to try your cask.
Yes. So in July and next month's episode, I will spill the beans.
Absolutely. And if you're in and around that area and see your Inka, be sure and say hi, Whisky Pals. Okay, so for posts to let you know when we've messed up our episodes or what our episodes are about, or cheeky wee stories here and there, please follow us on Instagram at whiskysisters.podcast, X at Whisky Sisters, and Facebook at Whisky Sisters Podcast.
Yeah, so hopefully next month we will be talking about festival releases and some travel retail as well. Is it all delicious or is it crap or what? Is it all just a big sham to get us buying stuff at the airports?
Yeah, when we're happy, clappy chappies en route to our vacation. Well, Inka, have an epic birthday trip and I look forward to hearing all about it. Until next time, honey.
Arrivederci. Until next time. May your glass be full.
And your dram on fire.